All right, everybody, if you're here, we're going to get started in just a few moments. Please feel free to put in your name and say hi to make sure you can hear me, make sure your sound's coming through very well. We always give people just a few minutes to get started because we know how timing goes with people all over the country tuning in here today. Once again, if you can hear everything's going on, please make sure I see a few people. See a few people in the chat room there or in the attendee room, and there's a chat bar over to your right that you can go in and ask any questions you like in there. You can ask questions throughout the program, as well as just let me know that you can hear me. Always good to know that I'm not just speaking to myself. So if you're here at the right time. We're just giving people a few more minutes to get in to the room here. Make sure we get everybody else set up. Let me get you a link to a couple of gifts that we're going to give you here real soon. All right, just a few more minutes. We're getting started. I should have some like music going, right, or something, so people know we're at the right place. They know that we're here. We're getting ready to do this. We're excited about this. So we've done this webinar a few times. It's been actually going really, really well. Really excited about it, and excited to show you guys what we got going on. Let's see, maybe a little music. Let's see if that works. I don't think anything's going on there. All right. Okay, so thanks again for everybody showing up. We appreciate all the response we've gotten from the announcements we've been putting out there. Just to let you know, we actually don't have a date set. It's going to be either next week or the following, but we're actually going to be doing another webinar coming up that's really special. That is specific training on some certain areas we're going to talk about here today. Today is going to be all about giving you just a really awesome understanding of how to create specifically a culture of success inside your office. If you're a private practice owner, if you're a doctor, attorney, a chiropractor, a dentist, orthodontist, you are a very special breed of person, and there's some very important things that I want to help you with that I've been able to help a lot of my clients with over the last couple of years, and coming from the space of relationships. So I'm super excited about it. So excited to tell you about a few things that I've been able to do recently with this program, and let you know more about it. So looks like we're gonna get started in 1 more minute. I always give people until about 5 after to get everybody here. Make sure everybody can hear me and see me. If you can hear me and everything's going well, over on your left-hand side, there should be a little pop-up that you guys can do a chat. and it'll say, you can just put in there, yes, we hear you, or hello, or anything like that would be great. You'll also see in there, I put a link there for you. That link there says the core dot please review dot info, HTTP in front of that, of course. Go ahead and in another window, open up that link right there. And it's going to take you to my desktop, not my computer desktop, but it's a virtual desktop that you're going to have a lot of little gifts that I want to give you. And you don't need to open all of them up now. But when it comes to the notes for the webinar, I actually created a whole set of notes for you so that you can spend your entire time just focusing on what we're talking about here, seeing if it fits for you, but not having to worry too much about writing your own specific notes. I've already done that for you. So please make sure that you go check those out. Let's see, got everybody else in here. It's also notes. I'll put it up here and I'll load those up here for you too. All right, let's get this party started. Once again, I haven't seen anybody write that they can hear me, so let's. So let's, if you can hear me and everything's sounding fine to you, please let me know. If not, please let me know that too, because I'm concerned nobody's going in the chat room there. I'm going to do a couple of specific chats to people. See if you can hear me, because I'm not seeing anybody respond. Maybe it's that you don't know where to find it in the area there. Should be right there on the right-hand side. Should be a place where you can type in it says chat up top. You can click on chat. You can ask me a question. See Greg in there. Greg, how's it going? Hilton, how you doing? Just want to make sure that they are available. I'm getting nobody responding, so I'm kind of concerned that nobody can hear me. Let's do this. I just want to make sure you can all hear me, and I'm not getting anybody chatting in, so it's concerning me. Once again, I see people in the room. I'm just not seeing anybody make. Hey, Hilton, are you there? Let's see. I'm inviting just Hilton to come in for a chat, but then he disappeared.
The right people to work with you, and
hey, Hilton, you can hear me?
And lastly,
yeah.
All right, good. Just want to make sure. I'm not getting anybody typing in the chat room, so I wasn't sure. All right, I'll go. So I'm going to put you on silent again, but I'm going to see if some other people can hear me too. All right. All right, we'll get things going here. If you do have questions or anything on the side, looks like it's working. So enough people are responding. Okay, great. So let me get back to my screen share here for you so you can see what we're talking about here. All right, great. Thanks everybody for joining me today. My name is Dino Watt, as you hopefully know, and super excited for you all to be here. Like I said, go to the link that's in the chat room area there. We'll also send a link at the end of this webinar to you that will, an email to you that will give you a link about giving you my desktop. Once again, that will give you all the free stuff there. I have a couple of different reports there for you. We have some stuff that we're going to announce later on too. But right now, just make sure you get those notes for you. If you're somebody who likes to take notes on your own, that's fine too. Just thought this would be a nice little way to organize everything for you. So what are we going to do today? Today, we're going to really focus on something that I don't believe anybody else has taught you about running a business, especially when it comes to having a private practice. It's the way that you're going to really take your business to the next level. I truly believe that all of our real success in anything we do begins and ends with the relationships that we develop. Everything you have now in life is because of the relationships you have, and everything you want to have, that dream, that focus, that thing that you haven't been able to achieve, I know is out there, and it's going to come through the relationships that you develop. A good friend of mine, Garrett Gunderson, has a formula that he talks about. It says the financial capital formula, where he says, your mental capital plus your relationship capital is what equals your financial capital. Unfortunately, I think so many of us, I know I was a victim of this for years, focused on, I got to get the mental capital. I got to get the mental capital. I got to learn how to write it, to do business in the sense of, the numbers and marketing and all that other stuff that goes with being in business. And I really didn't focus on the relationship capital, especially when it came to doing things myself. I don't know if any of you can relate to thinking you can do it yourself instead of actually reaching out and getting help from those that might know a little bit more than you. We all know that everybody who's on this webinar right now, and all the people that I typically work with, they have the mental capital part down. What do I mean by that? I mean, you've gone through either your formal education or you've gone through the school of hard knocks. For the most people that I really deal with, they're people who have gone through formal education, got their doctorate degree, went and got a medical license, went and got their dental license, and then even further, maybe an orthodontics license with that as well. They spend a lot of time focused on the mental capital. So I'm not here to really focus so much on that, other than the fact that just by being here, you're going to gain a lot more knowledge because you're maybe going to see something in a way that you hadn't seen it before. So the thing that we're going to focus more on is just the relationship capital. And how we're going to do that is through a program that I developed called the Core. And the Core is a couple of things. Number one, when you think of the core of working out, right? Everybody, if you've ever worked out in your life before whatsoever, every exercise, every time you're lifting a weight, they tell you to focus on the core, tighten the core, because the core, the center of your body, is obviously attached to everything else. And if you focus on that, you're going to get better exercise out of the exercise that you're doing. You're going to be able to strengthen all the muscles that are attached to it. And when you have a good core center, then things just run a lot better. Well, in my scenario here with the core, I've actually broken that down into 4 specific areas. And that's what we're going to talk about today is the culture of your business. When we talk about the core of your business, these are the areas that I think are the most important. And the culture is one that not a lot of people really think about. They think about it in the sense of, we like to have fun, or we're really upbeat, or we care about our customers. Nothing that is very specific to them. And we're going to talk about why it's important to have a specific culture. And then we go into the operations of your business. Now, a lot of people look at the operations of having the order of things or the systems on how you do it. I actually look at it a little differently. When I'm looking at it from a relationship side of things, there are some very specifics that you need to have in your business in your business operations in order to make them run a lot smoother. And it starts with nothing to do with actually the process of things. And then there's the relationships, which of course that's the core of the core, right? That's my forte. I am the relationship expert. I have been focused on relationships for now over a decade, specifically in business, and helping people to understand the power of those relationships. We'll get to my story in just a moment, but I hope you all really get the idea that, man, if you just focused a little bit more on the relationships, you're going to get tenfold your return. And then lastly is excellence, which is how to take your business to the next level. What is it that those Fortune 500 companies out there are doing to take their business to the next level in order to get the results, not just what they want, but the results they consistently want? Because everybody can have a blip year, right? Everybody can get that little uptick year. It's a matter of the consistency behind it. And if you have done any reading of anything like Good to Great, that such a great book on research and actual documentation of these companies that took themselves from good to great because they understood how to take themselves, how to create more excellence in their business. Now, what I do know know that nobody taught most of you how to be entrepreneurs. Nobody taught me how to be an entrepreneur other than trial and error, right? I had a couple of mentors out there when I was working for some smaller companies and things like that. But really, when it comes down to it, nobody taught me. However, that's not really, I go into being an entrepreneur knowing that I've got to figure it out on my own. Here's the challenge for most of my clients. If you're a professional, if you're somebody who went and got a professional degree, out of all the schooling that you went to, out of all the years of the things that you were taught and how to do the thing that you do, no one taught you how to be an entrepreneur. No one taught you how to run a business. Nobody taught you how to deal with employee relations. Now, you might have been smart and taken a class here or a small class that were extracurricular, but it was not something that was included in your curriculum for most people out there. So you're what I call a propreneur. You're someone who is a professional that is pushed out into the world of being an entrepreneur. You got your degree, you got your, you went through all the schooling and you found somebody to either, you did one of two scenarios. You went in and learned how to do what you do in a business sense by the person that you were a associate with, or you went and started your own business. Now, a few of you, and especially getting now more popular, went the corporate route. And then you decided that wasn't good for you, so you went into the entrepreneur world. Either way, you still had to do the same thing, where you had to learn by trial and error of how to be an entrepreneur. The challenge is that you're also having to deal with people's lives in the healthcare industry. It could be the oral healthcare industry, it could be the actual healthcare industry. Either way, you're having to do two things at once that really can be frustrating. There's a reason why in one of the industries that I really help a lot, which is the dental industry, that they have one of the highest suicide and drug use rates in the country. I believe it's because of the major pressures that are put on them of not just having to deal with what they deal with their patients, but also having to run a business and balance their life and balance their family and balance their marriage and all that stuff that goes into it. So here's my big promise to you today. My big promise is that by the end of our time here together, I'm going to make you think a little differently. Now, whatever that looks like for you, I don't know where everybody that's on this call is in the sense of their own business and who they are. But I can tell you this, is that what I'm going to show you is going to help you think just a little differently. And even if you took one of the principles that I'm going to show you today and worked on those and worked on that for the next month, say 2 months, 3 months, the next quarter, see what happens and see how it's going to change your business. I'm going to repeat that again later on. I'm also going to give you a specific outline on how to have more peace, happiness, and profit in your business. That's really important to me because I want you to have all three of those. Because look, the fact is that when you're feeling more peace, happiness, and getting more profit in your business, you're going to be better for me and my family when I come to visit you in the sense of as in your profession. And then lastly, you're going to learn something that I believe no one's taught you before. At least one thing that no one's ever taught you before. This is how I truly believe I have come to the place in my life. I have been able to really claim this, and it's been a long time coming, but there's not a company that I can't help improve. I've been able to look at everything from movie industry companies, like literally movies, television, all the way up to my current clients now, which are private practice owners, speakers, authors, financial people. And I'm able to sit with them. And after talking with them for a while, I'm able to give them some really great value and how they can improve their business. Now, I'm going to do that through these 4 simple steps. And that's what is really powerful. I like the book. I'm a really big fan, I should say, of the book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And in his book, he talks about how so many people try to make these huge leaps by changing habits. You know, I'm not just going to lose weight. I'm going to become a bodybuilder. And also, and yep, it worked for a few people. For most people, it doesn't. But if you were to take small, simple steps to get to your goal, to change your patterns by small, simple means, that's where the real success comes in. So those 4 simple steps that I just walked you through, that's going to be it. And also, you're going to understand that after you get these 4 simple steps and after you implement these things, my goal is that you will never have to hire another consultant again. That you'll never have the need to have somebody come in and help you piecemeal your business together, because you'll understand that everything that's going on in your business can be solved by one of those 4 simple steps. Also, you'll be the person that clients are seeking. Now, as I just mentioned, every one of the problems that you might be having in your business will be solved through one of those 4 steps. The culture alone, it's fascinating to see how the culture acts as a magnet to my clients, that now in their business, they're not having to market as much. I have one client who spends $0 on marketing, not a single dime on marketing, because he pumps all of it back into his team members and the people that are his current clients, and that just feeds him. And he has a $3 million a year practice. Not a single dime goes to marketing. You're also going to know that your practice through these 4 simple steps will grow while having harmony. So often people feel like they've got to, if they're going to grow their practice, they've got to do that through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now, though, as a warning. I've noticed this over the time period of me doing relationships in general. I first started off doing marriage. We'll talk about that in a moment. But also just strengthening your own personal relationship with yourself. And what happens is something very interesting. When you start to shift into a new way of thinking and being in life, one of 2 things happens to the people that are around you. Number 1, they either are attracted to you, or number 2, they repel from you. And it's not repel in a bad way. They just are confused by it. They don't know how to deal with it, so they'd rather choose out. So what's happened in some of my practices is that there's always some sort of turnover that happens. Sometimes I have one practice that's up to 90% turnover in the last year, a year and a half, really, since I've known them, since we started working together, because they're trying to very successfully put in their new culture, a way that they want to be. They have specific things they're doing that are improving the morale and the excitement of them and giving them energy. And yet some of the people that have been working with him for a while, they can't handle it. They're not comfortable with it. They're used to, hey, I just want to come here, do my job, and leave, and that's it. I don't want to have to actually grow. I don't want to have to do something different. So what we do is we show you how to create the balance and the harmony through those 4 steps. Because when you have it all dialed in, the difference is fascinating. All right, so let's talk a little bit about me real fast, so just so you know kind of why I do what I do and that I might know a little bit of what I'm talking about. Back in 2004 is when I took my first, not my first on my own entrepreneur journey, but my first, I am no longer going to work for corporate at all. I was dabbling in entrepreneurship off and on through the film industry, film and television industry, whether it be writing scripts. I actually produced a television show years and years and years ago, pre-YouTube, that was sold to a company that was like a YouTube. And it was a huge disaster. It was a huge failure in my life. We'll talk about that some other time. But it was a really a great lesson in my life. But it forced me to go into the world of real estate. Now, I didn't go into real estate because I was passionate about real estate. I went to real estate because I saw it was something that I could make some good money for my family, and I wanted to support my family. And then about 2 years later, I started the business of marriage, which has been my core business for the past decade, as I say. And it's been the thing that has helped me really understand the power of relationships. Then in 2006, because of all the money that I had focused in on real estate through investments and REITs and things like that, if any of you dealt with that, I'm sorry, not 2006, 2008, I lost almost everything. I definitely felt the pain of that crash of the economy, and literally lost almost everything. Yep, I've gone through a car repossession. I have stood in my front door, and actually was very nice. I helped the guy load up my car on the tow away truck and repossess it. I mean, it was not a good time for me at all. The only thing that I was just super determined to keep was my home. I really was passionate about keeping my home. I didn't want to have my wife move, my kids move. And so in order to do so, I actually went out, and in 2008 and 2009, both summers, I went door to door and sold alarm systems in Yuma, Arizona, and Tucson, Arizona, and California. In Yuma, Arizona, was one day 121-degree heat in the middle of summer, knocking on doors, asking people, you've had these guys come to your doors. Well, I did that because it actually pays very well, and I need to support my family. But I remember as I was doing that, I was knocking on the doors, I would always get myself pumped up and excited, and even get through the really bad days by telling myself, someday, I'll be able to tell this story to people, to inspire them, to let them know that they too can turn their lives around. That whatever it takes attitude is actually really powerful and can make a difference in your life. And so I did that for 2 summers. I'm very grateful for that time, not only the lessons I learned, but I was actually pretty successful at that because I really enjoy people and I love helping people out. And I felt I was giving an amazing service to people, and I'm very proud of that time that I spent there. And now, because of that time, I've actually been an award-winning mentor. I've helped over 100 practices and different companies, from the U.S. Air Force to America First to Costco to all these different companies that are out there. You might have recognized a few. And now I've had over 10 years experience in this specific field. And yep, I took those 2 summers off to make sure I can continue doing this. During those 2 summers, I actually worked the business of marriage through the rest of the year, and it helped and supported my ability to be an entrepreneur. I worked for 4 months. I made enough money to support my family, and then on top of that, my other business, and then working on the business of marriage. And what I do is one of a kind. Nobody does what I do in the world, which is really fun because nobody focuses on both the relationships of your own personal relationship, your marriage, and your business, and shows how they really do affect one another. And I'm super thrilled and proud of what I've been doing. And this year, I'll be releasing my second book. My first book was called Recession Proof Your Marriage. I wrote it back in 2006, right before the big crash was happening. And this book coming out is The Practice RX. And I'm so excited about this book. We spent a lot of time and energy on it, and we're finishing things up. And this is a working cover of the book. But this is going to be a game changer when it comes to personal practice and private practice owners. So I'm excited about that. As I mentioned, in 2005, I started the business of marriage because I was actually doing some mentorship with some clients through real estate. I was recruited by a really large company to do some mentoring and some coaching with these real estate investors because I had been pretty successful in the real estate world. And I was on my calls, and I would say 9 out of 10 of my clients were married couples. And for those of you that know, it's no secret that money is the #1 cause of divorce in this country. Well, when we're talking about business, that's also a big stressor because it relates to money, obviously. And a lot of couples just, quite frankly, should not work together. They just really shouldn't. And so I was on my calls with these people, and I would spend literally 40 to 45 minutes with my clients dealing with their marriage issues and how they could work together and trying to give them solutions on how they can get out of their own way and be successful in real estate if they would just learn how to look at it as a business. And so I'd give them these specific systems and ideas of what they could do. And one day I had a client come to me and say, Dino, the stuff you're having us do together, we've never communicated better before in our life. We've never had this type of experience in our relationship before. And it's really rocking not just our business, but our marriage as well. Do you teach something like that? And that was my light bulb moment where I said, oh my gosh. And I created the Business of Marriage. What I did is it basically took business principles from Fortune 500 companies, and I translated those into marriage communication and connection skills that nobody had done before. And it was doing really well. I was really excited about it. It took a few years to build it up, but did really well. And then after I came back from all my summers of doing that from 2009, and the fall of 2009, I sat down with a gentleman. His name is Rich Christensen, who is the author of a book called The Zigzag Principles. And he had seen my business model. He'd seen what I was doing. He had a friend who had gone through my program, and it was very successful. And he was like, Dino, listen, you're trying to help everybody. And the problem is when you do that, you can't help anybody. So how you're going to be successful is this. You need to find your clients, the specific clients you want to work with, and work with only them. And at that time, I was getting a lot of referrals to professionals, chiropractors, dentists, orthodontists. And I was like, okay, well, I can understand that. I'm going to focus on that. And sure enough, I focused specifically only marketing to high-income producers. And so I would tell people I help high-income producers replicate their business success into their personal relationships. And that's when my business took off. I went from a business that was doing roughly about $60,000 to $75,000 a year, all the way to a business that was multiple six figures every year. And it was really exciting. Well, then I had another aha moment, which was when I was talking to my practice owners about their marriage, and I'm giving them business principles into their practice. I had one doctor who was actually an orthodontist who came to me and said, Dino, what I'm doing in my marriage is rocking. I am communicating so well with my wife. This is doing great. However, I also have like 5 other wives in my office that are my assistants and my office manager. And man, the communication is terrible there. The backbiting is awful. And then I have to communicate with my clients. Do you teach something about relationships for businesses as well? And that was my full circle moment. My aha moment of like, oh my gosh, that's where I can translate these two together. And I can do it both in your marriage and your business. And that's when I started to create the core. And that has been so fulfilling. Over the last 2 years, I've been able to help just some amazing offices. And when you multiply the amount of people that are in those offices, it's been so much fun. I've been honored to speak on stages of the Shulman Group, which is a really high-end, really great invite-only orthodontist group. I've been asked to speak next year. In 2016, they've already asked me to speak for them for the American Orthodontist Association, because I really think I'm hitting a nerve when it comes to the relationship side of things that nobody's really talking about. So super excited about that. Let me just give you real quick my first case study of what we're going to talk about. I'm going to focus on 3 very specific case studies today. And there's a reason for why I'm going to focus on all 3 of them that we'll get to. But this is Dr. Jason West. He is a chiropractor out of Pocatello, Idaho. Now, if anybody know where Pocatello, Idaho is, you get a prize because it's in nowhere. He calls it Podunk Pocatello, but he grew up there and he loves it there. And he is a 3rd-generation chiropractor who had a business that was struggling. And his mom and dad were always doing okay financially. His actually grandfather started the practice. Isn't that crazy? His great grandfather started the practice. Well, in 1 year working my program in 2014, he increased his revenue over almost $500,000. I'm going to say over, just shy of $500,000. In the very first year his company has ever hit $3 million in 1 year. And this is a chiropractor. This is not a doctor. It's not a dentist, an orthodontist. He's a chiropractor. And he is a naturopath, so he does a little bit more than just, crack bones. But that he hit $3 million, it was fascinating. It was actually about December 21st of last year. I was driving to my kid's high school, and he actually called me from his accountant's office. He said, Dino, we've done something that we've never done in 99 years of practice in my family's practice. Because of you in this last year and what we've done and what you pushed us to do and what you taught us, we hit $3 million for the very first year. So I was super excited about that. And he sent me this nice testimonial. And what I didn't realize at the time until he sent me this testimonial was that it wasn't just that 2014 was an amazing success, but they did that working 52 days less a year. That was really cool. So he made an extra almost $500,000 by working 52 days less a year. So I'm super proud of Jason and what they've done there at the West Clinic. They have an amazing culture. They've literally, because of what they've been able to create through the core program, they've had people who will come in and say, hey, what's going on here? We want to work here. Do you have any positions opening? He just had a doctor leave, because he wants to have a medical doctor inside the office too, have the doctor leave his hospital job, and he's hiring him this month. By the way, Jason is still a client because of the success that we've had. His quote in the video, I think, is something like, I invested this amount of money and I get a $500,000 return. I mean, come on, that's just a no-brainer. Why would I do that over and over again? So super proud of them there. Those are some of the results that we're talking about here. Here's the state of the industry, though, that I just want to kind of look at. And these are numbers based upon dental practices that I actually have been able to look at some other practices, chiropractic offices, orthodontist offices, personal practice medical offices. And these stats are pretty similar across the board. It's pretty amazing. And these are just a few of the stats that I'm going to show to you. So solo practices right now are shrinking about 7% per year. With a growth rate in the dental industry, it's actually dropped to 2% from 3.9%. That's almost a 2% drop in the industry. And like I said, it's almost across the board. However, your overhead costs and your technology costs that are coming barreling down the pipeline right now are going up, of course. So what do you do? Like, how do you deal with this? What I wanted to know, though, is what's the biggest problem that these doctors are seeing? What's going on with them and why? So here's the thing that I want you to ask yourself right now. What's your biggest problem in your practice that you see? What's the biggest challenge that you're having in your practice? And why are you not able to get over it? Now, for everyone, it's going to be a little bit different. Everyone is, I had a consultation the other day, probably about a week ago, with a orthodontist who was talking about how, he teaches his team members what to do all the time. And he feels like every 3 months, he's teaching them the exact same thing over and over again. Like, it just doesn't stick. And I said, oh, you know what? Here's the problem. I'm going to tell you. I believe that the problem isn't in the systems that you're trying to teach them. The problem is in the relationships that you're creating with them and understanding them. In short, there cannot be a successful practice management going on without relationship management. That's the key. In order to have true successful practice management, you have to have good relationship management. Now, you might think, okay, well, I mean, I'm nice to them. I give them bonuses. I incentivize them. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about relationship management in all your relationship, and actually 3 main relationships that we're going to talk about in just a moment. But it's so important for you to get this, that when you really do have that aha moment, you have the aha moment like Jason did, like I just shared. Because Jason at first, when I first started talking to him, was kind of like, okay, whatever, culture, whatever. These guys should just be happy to have a job. I mean, that's what my dad taught me. And when you shift that, when you actually understand how to manage the relationships, it's a complete shift in your business. Now, what we did is we actually did a survey just to prove what we were kind of talking about. And we sent out a text message to about 52 private practice owners. And we wanted to have a kind of a small little survey to see if we were correct in thinking what these guys would be coming back with and what their challenges were. And in the notes section of the desktop that I sent to you, you're going to see specifically, I think there are 7, I believe, in there that we actually gave you their specific text back. But for the sake of time, what we did is we were able to see the ones that were struggling in practice and the ones that were successful in practice. So this is the only question we asked them. What are the biggest challenges you face in running your practice? That's it. Text us back, let us know. And the text we got back was varied, but very similar. So the successful ones had, they focus on something different than the struggling ones were. I'm going to focus on the struggling ones right now because those are the ones I think are the most relevant to those of you that are on the call right now. These were their top issues: team communication, management, and motivation, patient interest and engagement, setting strong goals, focusing on insurance, and competition. Those were their biggest challenges. One of the things that you'll see in the notes section and we mark it. I show you which one it is, but there is a orthodontist who talks about how competition is one of his biggest challenges, and he has no competition in Pocatello. I just gave away where he's from, but he has no competition there. Isn't that crazy? And that's why we did, is because it was in the same vicinity of where Jason was, so that we could see what's going on in that area. Is it an area issue? Because a lot of people use that excuse, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Oh, where I live, it's different. My practice is different, and not understanding that they're actually very similar. So the first lesson I want you to get is you are not alone. Your problems are not as unique as you think. And there are plenty of people who are just like you. So let's do some myth busting real fast. The first myth that I want to bust tonight is that people are going to pay you for your time, knowledge, and expertise. That's just simply not true. People will pay you for the results that you give them. They'll pay you for the way you make them feel. The result all around. I took out a picture of me on this webinar just for time's sake. So I want to make sure I use all the time correctly. But it's a picture of me as about a 8-year-old, 9-year-old. And what I did is I had some really, really jacked up teeth. I actually had a tooth that was completely covering the other tooth. And so kids would make fun of me, but I wanted to be an actor, a performer. I loved being in front of people. So I learned how to smile by covering up my top, with my lip. My top lip covering up my teeth, because that's how it upset me. However, when I got my braces on, I show another picture of me with braces on, smiling big as can be. And I'm so grateful to my orthodontist, because he gave me the result that I wanted. I didn't care about his time, his knowledge, or his expertise. My mom didn't care. All she cared about was making sure that my teeth weren't all jacked up the way that they were. The other myth we're going to go over is that your marketing strategy has to look a certain way in your industry. Go ahead and open up your value savers right now, your value packs, whatever you have in your neck of the woods, that are those envelopes that you get full of coupons, and pull open all the dental ones and all the chiropractic ones. And they're all going to look the same. They might have different color. They might have a different picture, but all the offers are going to be the same. Nothing unique, special, or intriguing about them. People, listen, you don't have to do marketing the same way you think you do. And you definitely don't have to do the same way your industry is doing it. You need to shake it up and do something to stand out. It doesn't matter what tools and equipment you use. They don't make any difference in the world. They do to you. And sure, they're kind of cool sometimes. I was just at one of my offices in Florida at the beginning of this week, and they have a new 3D imaging machine, and they're so excited about it. And it looks really cool. And he's still going to give the same awesome service. The culture makes the difference. People will come to you if you have a culture that makes them excited about who you are and what you do. You also believe in a myth that's out there is that you have a limited amount of time with each patient. If you're a chiropractor, hey man, they just come to me, they treat me like an ER. I just come to me when they're hurt. They don't actually come to me for preventative stuff and for long-term periods of time. Orthodontists have this challenge too, right? Oh, those dentists, they get whole families to be with them forever because they're always getting those cleanings. I only have somebody for 24 months. You have to start looking at your clients and understand how you can view them as a client for life. And then this is a big one for private practice owners, is the next consultant will be the game changer for my practice. And the challenge is it's not true. You need more than a consultant. You need somebody who is a partner with you inside of your business. One of the things that I'm so proud of that we're able to do is that we and my son, and when I say me, I talk about me and my team, we're able to strategize specifically for our clients, and we become like another silent member of their team. Someone who might not be there every day, but has a presence there for them because I'm helping them, I'm working with them. When I was out in Florida just this last week, I was there because I was doing a team training, and that team, we've only done 3 trainings so far, and one of them is via Skype. And I mean, they treat me like I'm just another, they're fun with me, they joke with me, I'm just another member of the team with them, because we're not just there to piecemeal things together, we're there to show you through a long-term process of how to get the results that you want. Give me an example, Dr. Abramowitz. He is a newer client of mine. He just started with my program in February, but he wanted to write a little note in to say why he hired me. And I like the middle part here. He said, Dino's evaluation of where we were is exactly where other consultants saw us. But Dino stood out from the other consultants because he did not just offer to show me what to do, but he offered to join us in the transformation. And that's what I was just talking about. And that's been so much fun with his team. All right, so lesson 2, you have to learn, in order to get what you want out of your business, you have to learn how to be special, set yourself apart, and create expert positioning in your field. And when I say that, I don't mean set yourself apart because, oh no, we're better at customer service than other people, or one of our core values is integrity. No. You have to really understand the power of core values. You have to understand the power of creating yourself as expert positioning in the field. I have a client in Northern California who we were talking about how he doesn't really get that many referrals from other dentists in the area. He's an orthodontist. And so I was telling him how to put this event together that can talk about what he's learned over the last 8 months. We're going to meet him in a little while in this program. And he was like, well, Dino, I mean, I'm just so sick of kind of sucking up to these other dentists who don't send me any business. And I was like, oh, no. You're not doing this for them. You're not even inviting them. And if you do, that's fine. But that's not the point. Is you're inviting other doctors in the area. You're doctors, like medical doctors, attorneys, businessmen, people who are in the know, city council members. That's who you focus on, because you want to show them that you are an expert in your field, not just another one in the field. And we'll talk about that in a moment and just how important that is. You cannot be afraid to rock the boat. If you fall prey to the rinse and repeat or trial and error or generational techniques that I was talking about, that is poison to a business, and it doesn't set you apart from anything. The fact is that let's use what we're talking on right now, which is a computer. This is a computer, but there's 2 types of computers. There's a PC, which a PC is all of these, right? IBM, Epson, Samsung, Intel, Sanyo. These are all computers. And then there's a Mac, and there's only one Mac out there. But the fact is, they're both the same thing. Yes, they might have different operating systems. Yes, they might have prettier whatever, but they're the same thing. They do the same process. What I do on my computer, you can do on your computer if you're a PC. I'm a Mac person. If you're a PC person, we can do basically the same things. Most software translates to one another. How does Mac have a product that is the most expensive product out there out of all of those, and yet is the most successful company in the world? These guys follow the crowd. Mac set themselves apart. In your business, if you're an orthodontist, for example, you can be Dr. E, Dr. C, Dr. J, Dr. F. You can do all this. That's following the crowd. Or you can learn how to sincerely and truly brand yourself. Not just that you hired a really cool consultant or really good graphic artist to create a nice little brand, but you actually label yourself for a reasoning of you're the smile architect, you're the orthodontic arts, you're the smile design studio. Whatever that is in your neck of the woods, whatever you decide to make that, because now you are the place to go because you are the smile architect, not because, oh, I go to Dr. A. And then through that brand, the further step of that is creating the culture that makes people want to, just naturally want to promote you and send you referrals and get their friends and family members to be a part of your world. That's how you create generational clientele. So here's the question I have for you. What do you think is stopping you right now from completely setting yourself apart? Now, some of you might be sitting there with that question going, well, I am setting myself apart. I'm Dino. I've totally set myself apart. Okay, then what are you doing specifically to set yourself apart? What is it that makes you different? One of the challenges, as I just mentioned a moment ago, is a lot of people come up with in their head like, well, but that doesn't work in my area. And I haven't even said anything yet of what to do. And I know I've got people going, well, I don't know if that's really going to work in my area. I don't know if that really works for me. I've had other people tell me that before, and I tried it out for a while and it just didn't work. Or they think, well, if I was a bigger or smaller or different in town, if I was able to have another associate or whatever, fill in the blank. If I was the only orthodontist in my town, I talked to you earlier about that orthodontist who had that as his challenge, and yet he was the only orthodontist in town. Or if it wasn't for Obamacare or the government or the elections or the economy or whatever it might be. If only, if only, if only. We all have those if onlys. And hey, I'm saying this because I am so guilty of this in my business before. I mean, there was a time where I was sitting there saying, well, I mean, I'm not a licensed marriage and family therapist, so who's going to listen to me? So I would be more successful if only I had a degree, but I don't have the time or the money to be able to do that. So that's why I'm not successful. Or fill in the blank, right? It's your mindset. That's all it is. It's a shift in the mindset. So one of the things that we really focus on in my programs is to make sure that we are giving you the training you need to completely shift not just your mindset, but the mindset of the people around you. So what's actually stopping you? I mean, let's truly look at what's stopping you. This is what I believe through my experience and my conversation with so many professionals out there, propreneurs out there. The office drama that you don't want to have to deal with that just drives you crazy. The high turnover rate with your employees, the low productivity rate. And I'm going to go back to high turnover rate or the eternal employee, meaning they're guys that, they probably shouldn't be with you, but they still are just because out of habit, because you want to rock the boat, because deep down they're really nice people, even though you're not sure if you can trust them or they're not really giving you their all. I have a client that I was talking to probably about 2.5 months ago, and they're talking about their treatment coordinator, and they have two of them. One of them is closing at around an 85% ratio. The other one's around 60. And I was like, dude, why would you even have her in your office? I mean, you need to, if you don't want to fire her, you want to, well, she's a nice person and really deep down, and I don't know, it's just a pain to get somebody new. I was going, so, okay, we won't get into that, but you get my point. Low productivity, late arrivers for your clients, no shows or no calls, low referral rates. I can guarantee you that late arrivers, no show, no calls are completely due to your culture, completely, because you teach people how to treat you, and your team has taught them how to treat you. Low referral rate, same difference. And then on top of that, you've got technical issues you got to deal with. Like I said, ever-changing technical issues. You got delegation issues. You're not sure how to delegate. You've tried it before. You're taking too many things on. By the end of the day, you are just completely drained. But this is not what you started your practice for. This is not why you got into the industry you did. And therefore, all this stuff is trapped in your head. And it's either running on a subconscious level, on a subconscious script going on, or it's actually forefront of your mind most of the day, and it drains you. And you're not able to perform at your best, even though you might think you are, you're not. And it makes sense. No, I'm not sitting here blaming you. I'm not telling you you're bad in any way. I'm just trying to help you realize that, number one, you should be aware of it, but number two, I'm aware of it, and I get it, and I understand where you're coming from. But all those things are due to your culture, like I mentioned just a moment ago. So let's talk about culture before and the importance of culture. I'm going to talk about two people. We're really going to get into this now. This is all starting with the COR and the E. And this is really a part of understanding why a culture is powerful and how it can literally change the world. Now, you might not specifically want to, nor necessarily will, change the world, but you can definitely change your world. You can change what's going on for you and your clients and your business. But these two people actually did change the world. The first person we're going to talk about is Walt Disney. Now, who doesn't love Walt Disney? And there might be some of you who don't love Walt Disney, but you can't argue with the fact that Walt Disney and his vision, his dream, his culture has changed the world. The number one most visited vacation destination in the world is Disney World. And then we're going to contrast him with Adolf Hitler, right? Not two more opposites can I find, right? Disney and Adolf Hitler. Well, here's the thing. What these two men understood when it comes to creating a culture is something that if you don't understand, you don't get, you will never create the culture that you want. They understood that you only needed 3 things to create a culture, 3 very specific things. The first thing you need is a vision. You have to have a vision of how you want the world to be. And that's all they did. They promoted a vision. Both of them, when they first promoted it, people thought they were crazy. When they first promoted it out there, people thought there was no way this would happen. These two men are nut jobs. But then they were persistent with their vision, and they did something very unique. They created for their vision expectations, specific expectations. Walt Disney created the expectation that you have to come at everything you're going to present to me. For those people who did finally get on board or who wanted to be on board with them, you have to come at it as a child. You have to come at it using your imagination to its fullest. As a matter of fact, he created a new word called the Imagineers. He didn't want engineers to tell him how to put together a what's it called, a roller coaster. He wanted people who would imagine how that roller coaster would be in their dreams, in the fantasies of 8 and 10-year-old kids. Hitler, of course, we don't need to go into that, but also had very specific expectations of how he wanted people to be. And then lastly, they created a support system that was so powerful, so unique, and so awesome that they were able to imagine a world that did not exist, but believed they could create it. So what do you have to do the first step in your business to create your own culture? I just told you, you got to create a vision that is clearly defined, and you have to break it down. Now, I'm not just talking about, oh, we give the best service in the country, or we're great to our clients. You know, there's a litmus test that kind of goes along with this, and we're going to talk about it in a moment too with core values. That is, if you can literally, as a person, listen to what you are saying as your vision or your core values and go, well, I would hope so. Like, for example, if you're a dentist, you say, well, we want to give people a great smile. Well, I hope so. I mean, you're a dentist, right? Orthodontist. Oh, we will straighten your teeth the first time, every time. Okay, I hope so. I'm not trying to be flippant about this, but I want you to get it that a vision is more than just a statement of this is what we want. A vision is what you see as a difference in the world. So in the business of marriage, for example, my vision was to reverse the direction of divorce in the world. That's a big deal. That's how big it has to be. And you have to break it down. Then you have specific expectations that, like I said, are very specific, and they create accountability. They're not just something out there that is just for people to say, oh yeah, well, that's really cool. That's neat. When I talk about the core values, we talk about those being the roadmap to your vision. And then you also have the support. You have to support people and creating the support. And what I mean by that, people support what they can create. So if you have them help you, your team help you in creating ways that they would want to be supported, then they're more likely to do what you ask them to do because they're a part of the creation of it. And the second part of that is you have to know their support styles. Now, I had a really hard time with this when I was doing a lot of the research for creating this, because I knew that people felt support differently, but I also couldn't find anybody who is teaching how to find out how everybody's support style is different and how to figure that out. So I had to create it. So we actually literally created what we call the support styles assessment, where we walk people through and teach people how to find out every single person in their office's support style, so you can actually help them get to the next level in their business and what they're doing for you, and know that, and for them to know that you are completely supportive of them. And it makes your life so much easier, because not everybody feels supported by getting a bonus. Not everybody feels supported by being overseen. Not everybody feels supported by education. There are 5 different, very specific ways people feel supported. And that's what we came out with. That's what we were able to do. So here's the first bonus gift that you're going to have. That actually comes on your desk as well, on your virtual desk. What I did is, I believe core values, like I said a moment ago, are the road map to your vision. And very specific, very powerful core values, companies like Zappos.com or Amazon.com or 3M or Disney or Nike or gosh, I'm going blank. Those are enough. That they have created very powerful core values that are specific. A lot of people, like I said, will do like a weekend retreat or something, and they'll go, oh yeah, everybody should have core values. And they go, oh yeah, we should probably have some core values. All right, I want everybody to have integrity. I want everybody to have a smile. I want everybody to treat everybody nicely, and so forth. Okay. But that's not the power that a core value can give. When you really have powerful core values, here's the key. If your core values are specific enough, if they're powerful enough, they will actually and can work as your hiring and firing list. I just got done writing about this in my book, and I'm really excited about this because it is really something that not a lot of people are looking at. If you had 10 to 15 core values that were so specific about your expectations of what you are expecting from these people in order to get to your vision, then you can use that as the list to hire and fire. David Datweiler is an orthodontist up in Northern California. You'll be meeting him in just a moment through this presentation. And he was having to hire somebody recently, and he just broke out his core values and said, okay, she had gotten all the way through to the personal one-on-one interview, and she sat down with him and he said, here's the core values. This is what we expect from you at this job. And she was flabbergasted. She's like, wow, I've never had a company show me a list like this. That's exactly what it is. And he said, by the way, this is what will determine your bonuses. This is what will determine your employee evaluations. And this is what will determine if you continue working with our company. And we are that passionate about our core values. And she was like, awesome, bring it on. And I actually recently got to meet her, and she was just so excited about it. So that's your bonus gift. It's also on your virtual desktop. Let's go to operations. It's the second part of the core, and this is key. So second part of the core, really, this little area here deals with your employees more than even deals with you, because you have to be able to understand not just what your why is, but what your employees' why is and what drives them. And here's what I mean. When I talk about a lot of people thinking about operations being the systems that they use to get what they want or to get the end game in their office, if you hire people from their why, meaning their why is their core driver in life, their main motivator, the thing that makes them tick, the thing that is exciting for them, the thing that gives them energy every day. For them, it's their personal vision for life. So we've dealt with your vision when it comes to the culture. Now, when it comes to operations, the people that are going to be implementing that culture and the people that are going to be in charge of wowing your clients every day, knowing what their why is so powerful. And so we teach people how to find people like that. And we also teach people who are currently in the office how to find their own and how to make that congruent with their current position. It also helps you enroll and engage them into your vision and what you want them to do. Then we go to the systems. We go to the systems that are specifically there to help you reach your goals and to increase the productivity. Yes, there is a business side to this. So we have to look at, okay, what are the systems that you're using? From the moment a potential client actually talks or sees either marketing piece or talks to you on the phone or hears your name or hears about you, what are the systems that are going to, first of all, not only make them want to come in, but make them already wanting to buy based upon keywords you're using, phrases that the people on the phone are using, introductions to your systems that they're using. What do you do before, during, and after the process that will make them engage? So those systems are the most important to me. And then responsibility, delegation versus abdication, understanding how you can take so much more off of your plate. And understanding that your job, seriously, and I know a lot of people don't understand how they could possibly do this, and this is almost sounds extreme, but your job should consist of three things. That's it. As the professional, there should be three. Some of you, I'm going to give a little bit of leeway to go up to 5, but between 3 and 5 is all you should be focused on, are every day. Everything else can be delegated out. But there's a difference between delegation and abdication. And let's just talk about that real fast. Delegation, you have clearly defined tasks, support is being offered, and there are clear deadlines. Abdication is when you have a lack of explanation, no clear direction, and release of responsibility. This is where in the professional practice industry, unfortunately, I hear stories often about embezzlement. And this is where this comes into play, because you're abdicating responsibility of really understanding what's going on with in that case, the books. I have clients that, unfortunately, way before they met me, had been working for a very long time in their office. And unfortunately, their entire retirement, after I think it was 30 years, almost 30 years, 25, 30 years, had been wiped out because unfortunately they abdicated it. And they didn't know. I mean, I'm not blaming them. It's just something you don't know. So that's what we want to focus on. All right, next is our relationships. Obviously, as I said, for me, this is what it's all about here. This is the core of the core. This is where we take it to the next level. And the first relationship that is the most important relationship to understand and how to strengthen and how to grow on is yourself, your personal relationship. The majority of my clients are healers, meaning they're medical professionals, right? They give. They want to help people, whether it be correcting a smile, filling a cavity, helping adjust somebody's body and their bones, to giving them the right prescription, whatever it is. They're givers. Like, they're solvers of crimes. They're solvers of mysteries when it comes to the body, and they know how to fix it. And that is a powerful, amazing place to come from. And it's also one of the most poisonous places, because you get so caught up in giving that you forget to receive. And the fact is, you cannot give from an empty cup. You cannot take yourself and completely drain yourself and expect more people to come to you, and expect to be able to be energized, to be excited, to be happy every day. So you have to be able to take time for yourself every day. You have to develop integrity for yourself. That is key. Then the second, and it is in this order, by the way, the second one is your team. You have to understand how to connect to your team and how to show your team that they are the number one thing in your life, not the clients. I know it's hard for you to hear, for some people to hear, but the client isn't always right. There's a quote that I just added into my book where the gentleman talks about how when you treat your clients like they are your team members, like they're the most important people to you, then they will treat your clients like they're the most important people. And that's how your business is going to take off. You have to understand the difference between a team and a staff, and you have to be able to empower your team, and you have to know how to do that. And we train you exactly how to do that. And then we go to your clients. How do you take your clients and show them before, during, and after that they are important to you, that they are a part of your family? How do you strengthen that relationship with them? Part of that is through your public persona, and we show you how to increase that. Part of that comes almost naturally through the culture that you create, but it also is something where with your public persona, it's just going to help you and help everybody else. Like I was talking about, it's not just about the other, if you're an orthodontist, other dentists referring you. It's about every other professional referring you as well. What's the difference between a team and a staff, though? I think that's really important to understand. The team is a team that works together, as a group that works together, has a common goal, and creates a system of support. Whereas the staff is someone who's out for themselves, wants only a job, and an infection of one staff can infect the entire office. And this is what you've got to be really, really be careful about. I'm big on words and the words that we use. And so for me, I always catch my clients and say, oh, this is our staff. Oh, our staff is doing this, staff is doing that. No, they're not. They're your team. Treat them like a team. Nobody wants to be this team. And nobody wants to be a staff. A staff is an infection that nobody wants. All right. The last one is excellence. How to take your business to the next level. First thing, I know it sounds completely self-serving, but it's true. Hire a mentor. We're going to get to that in a moment. I'm not talking about just myself, just a mentor. And there are good, better, and best mentors out there. And you've got to decide where you want to take your company. There's a huge difference between a consultant and a mentor. We're going to get to that. And we're going to talk about how do you encourage learning inside of your office? How do you encourage learning to the entire group? You have to, first of all, know their learning types. Just like they have support styles, they also have learning types. If you feel like you're teaching the same thing over and over again, obviously you're not teaching it the right way, or you just don't have the right people in your office. Either way, you have to know their learning types so that you can be more productive. And you have to make sure that the team feels completely valued, and they will do that when you encourage learning to them. So for example, this last week, we were talking about the importance of all the team members having a really good relationship with money and feeling good around money. And so I gave him some suggested reading books. And he said, one of the challenges that we have is we've done that before where we try to have everybody like read a book that month and nobody does it. And it's, they're busy and they have their lives and they don't want to take work home with them and all that stuff. And I said, okay, what if you did this? What if you assigned a chapter to each person in the office, and then that person got to do a presentation, a 5-minute presentation in your morning huddle or a Friday meeting on that chapter? And now everybody gets the benefit of that book. And they were overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. It just helped them get what they wanted. But when that happens, when the team feels like you are actually involved in and care about their education, it's going to just benefit not only them, of course, but benefit your business, because the things that they're learning are going to benefit your business, number one, and that they feel better about themselves, especially when you know their why and know what really drives them, and you help them educate themselves more on things that are different topics that are surrounding their why. Man, I couldn't get that one out. It's going to just help them feel so much better. And then lastly is learning how to celebrate your success. And a lot of companies do not understand how to do this, unfortunately. But when you celebrate the success of a team, it's not a matter of just saying, hey, good job, guys, we hit a goal. It's the small things too. It's understanding how to create things that create points of success that are on a specific and continual basis. You have to be willing to reward the achievements and focus on the future. That's what celebrating success does. Now, let's talk about 3 important people. This is Chris Como, Joe Polish, and Richard Williams. I want to know if anybody knows who these guys are. Now, I'll give you a clue. Let's see if this helps. Tiger Woods, Damon John, and Venus Williams. Now, do you know who they are? Chris Como, Joe, and Richard are mentors to Tiger Woods, Damon John, and Venus Williams. Obviously, I think everybody knows probably who Tiger Woods is. Damon John is from FUBU and Shark Tank. Venus Williams is the tennis player Venus Williams. Here's what they know, and this is what is important. Consultants are temporary fixes to current challenges, but mentors are permanent fixes to all of your challenges. That's really powerful to understand. So the lesson 3 that I want you to take away is that your biggest problems are relational, not operational. With your culture, not with your cash flow. Here's the thing that I want you to get to is that there's one thing in the world everybody wants. And we're on our last 20 minutes here. So I hope you're all getting what you want out of this, but this is really powerful that I just want to share with you. There's one thing in the world everybody wants. Can you guess what it is? More. Hey, Milt. Sorry, I don't know how you came on. Hey there. All right, sorry about that. So there's one thing in the world everyone wants. They want more. They want more. Oops, sorry. I just clicked on the wrong thing. They want more freedom, more time, more profit, more productivity, more creativity, and more passion. That's what everybody wants more of, and a little bit more positivity. Wouldn't that be nice in this world today? Well, the core is designed to give you all of those things. It is the catalyst for the results that you're wanting. So you have a result that you want, and everybody has different results. I'm not here to tell you what result you have to have. You get to choose that result. But in order to get there, the core is going to help you get there. That's what I love about it. And that's what we've seen over and over again. We want you to have more productivity, meaning you're going to have more self-motivated employees. You're going to develop a well-oiled machine that can work with you there or without you there. One of the challenges that some of my clients have is the fact that they have the golden handcuffs. They might be doing really well in their business, but if they were to step away, if they were to get hurt, I have a client out of Kansas who he was doing some vacationing with his family. He's a dentist. He was doing some vacationing with his family, and he was in an ATV accident and broke his hand. Luckily, he had an associate that barely was able to save his business while he was gone. But boy, his business would have gone under 6 months. And it was a really bad break. He had to have surgery on it, the whole bit. It was terrible. Positivity in your office, getting more positivity. Excuse me, no more energy vampires, right? Making sure that in your office, you're surrounded by people who are supportive 100% of your vision. And when you do that, you're going to be surprised. I find it fascinating. With what I do, I am so excited about what I do. I have so much fun with what I do that there are times, even like tonight, where it's 8:00 at night where I am. Some of you, it's like 10:00. I know that. And at the end of this presentation, at the end of my time with my clients, when I'm working later with them and stuff, I can't go to bed for a couple of hours because I'm so jazzed up by the time I get in. I'm in my zone. I'm in my energy that if I worked in a place where every day I knew it was either going to suck the energy from me or other people that I worked with were going to suck the energy from me, I couldn't do it. So I see that with my clients. And my goal is to help them create more positivity in their office. And then also no more emasculated doctors. Now, if you're a male doctor on this call, I want you to get this. So one of the things that my wife and I did years ago is we became body language certified experts, because it definitely helps when I'm doing my phone calls with my clients, when I do a lot of Skype calls and when we're doing our presentations, because we can see what they're not saying through their body language. I love the art of body language. I think it's fascinating and I love studying it. Well, we have been able to pinpoint and see the sign for doctors who have become emasculated by being in a world of women. Now, that is no slight to women at all. Here's the fact of the matter. We have seen, because of the power of estrogen and women, that so many doctors who don't know how to be leaders, who are so focused on all the other things they gotta do, that's tiring for them, that they give up a lot. I had a call from a financial director of an office probably about 3 months ago. And we were talking and she was telling me how in her office, she was offered the human resources department head. And she told her doctor, no, even though it would be a little bit more money and a lot more power, I guess, positioning in the office. And she told him no, because every girl in that office knew that all they had to do to get their way was to cry to the doctor, and he would give them their way because he didn't want to have to deal with it. And so she felt that if she were to have to hand out a discipline, that person would go and cry to the doctor, and he would undermine her by telling her, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine. This is very common in your industry and all the industries where there are male doctors. There's actually a funny little story behind that, which is I have a client who's a dentist out of Oklahoma who I was talking to him about this, and he said, you know, what's really funny about that? Do you know? He goes, I used to have a dog that I loved. He was just a fun little dog. I think he said he was a golden retriever or something like that they used to breed. And he used to be a house dog. Well, they had gotten 4 female dogs that were all outside dogs, and they put him outside with them. And I don't know I can't remember if he said it was because they had to move or whatever, but the dog was outside with them. And within 5 months, the dog wasn't producing. He was sterile. And they were like, what's going on? Like, he's a young enough dog. He should be fine. And they were telling the doctor, the vet, what was going on and who he was around. And obviously the vet was asking good questions. And the vet said, oh, he's been neutered basically by being around all those other female dogs. And I thought that was a little fascinating story about how nature takes its course when it comes to that too. And the last thing once you get more of is profit. Income is a natural occurrence. And this is what's cool about this. You're going to see this in just a second, that income generating is just a natural occurrence when you have a new culture, because like I said, it magnetizes. As I just mentioned, we focus on making sure everybody in the office, especially anybody dealing with your sales, has a really good connection with money. Meaning that they don't have any money issues, and that there's they like money in the sense of that they feel it's a very powerful energy and it can do great things in the world. Not anybody who thinks that money is bad and, was it the root of all evil is money and all that stuff. None of that. And so we will go in and we'll make sure that everybody has that mindset. But because of that, then more people are open to receiving money, and therefore it is a natural occurrence inside your office. And once again, higher energy attracts higher income. Just like I mentioned earlier with Dr. West and his office, where he has people coming to him saying, can I work here? He has patients who will say, what is going on here? This is an amazing, I just enjoy my time here. And he's in Pocatello, Idaho. Did I mention that? All right. So, of course, the financial benefits are going to be there. Those are just going to be a natural occurrence, like I said. But what's most important is that you're going to have the emotional benefits to it. You're going to understand your team's needs. There's going to be less in-office drama, ability to resolve conflicts. A happier team means happier patients. You're going to feel empowered. You're going to gain control of your business and your life. You're going to be a better spouse, parent, and friend. And it's all going to happen because of this one thing. It's because you're going to learn to be a better leader. Every single one of you can learn to be better leaders. And I know that for sure. And there are some very powerful leaders out here that are listening to this call, and I'm super happy about that. But that's a fact. So how do we make that happen? Let me give you a little bit of exercise. This is what I want you to do right now. Just think. If just one of these principles that we talked about today, either the C, the O, the R, the E, like I said, they're not really crazy deep principles, right? Like they're not, oh my gosh, that's earth-shattering. But who's teaching you this stuff? But if you were to take one of these principles for 1 year, where would your practice be in 1 year if nothing changed? If you just sat here right now and said, oh, thanks for the call, Dina, that's great. It's a good hour and a half out of my life, and I appreciate it, and moved on, and nothing changed. What's going to happen in 1 year from now? If nothing changes, nothing will change, right? However, if you incorporated just one of the core principles, or better yet, all of them into your practice, then what would happen? Better yet, answer yourself this question. If we were to get on a phone call this time next year, and you were to implement these processes and programs, and you were to, even if you were to be a part of this program, what would have to happen 1 year from now in order for you to see this program as being a success? And I mean numbers wise, like how much increase would you want to have? How much, not just numbers wise, also emotional wise. I had a doctor do a discovery session, or an application, I should say, about a month ago. And he's like, oh man, if I saw a 4% increase, that would be so awesome. I was like, done, like no problem. That's easy. It's just little tweaks. But what would it be for you? What would you need? Let me give you an example of Dr. Dave Detweiler. I mentioned him a few moments ago. He's up in Northern California. Amazing doctor. He's almost done with his year with my program. So what I wanted to do when I wanted to talk about people is I wanted to give you 3 different scenarios. Somebody who has gone through the whole entire program and now is re-upped again. That was Dr. West. Someone who's brand new to the program and already seeing the results, Dr. Abramowitz. And then now here's somebody who's almost done, just so you can see them in different stages. So this is Dr. Detweiler. He came to me just saying, Dino, I don't know what to do. I'm exhausted. As a profession, I really love being an orthodontist, but I'm so drained. I have no energy. I'm sick all the time. I'm so frustrated. I feel like I'm never being heard. I have maybe 1 or 2 people who are, supportive, but that doesn't get me through the day. They're not terrible people. It's just, they just weren't understanding what I wanted from them. I'm not emotionally fulfilled with my business, and I'm getting burned out. He had different people in his he called staff that didn't fit in the positions, yet he was just like, it's too much to get somebody new. I don't know what to do. And they're a nice person. So he was so focused on things working in his business and not on, and he knew it. He was very aware of it. So he started with my program, and this is what has happened. And these are numbers, actually, to be completely transparent. These are numbers from 2 months ago. So it's obviously even more from now. But 2 months ago, this is what he reported. Production, 2013 to 2014. He started with my program in May of last year. So like I said, he's almost done with it. His production is up 21% year to year. In January, I did one very specific thing with his team. Now, at this point in January, they've gone through the culture. They know the culture. He's gone through some new hires. He knows his core values. We have the operations down, the relationships. Everybody's on board. They've done some amazing trainings and all this stuff. And so I said, okay, you guys are ready for a big challenge. So in January, I did something with them, and I gave them one simple little tool. Now, their average January starts, meaning people who have actually put money down in his office in January's average is 26. That's typical. Well, what we did is we gave them this one little tweak. In January of 2015, just this January, just a few months ago, they did 46%. starts. Now look at that percentage wise. That's a 54% increase. Overall January production was up 43%. That's awesome. For him, that was about an extra $80,000 in 1 month that he put towards his business. That was really great. But what was cool is, just like with Jason, he sent me a testimonial too that actually surprised me because of what he said. So Jason said he had the best year in 99 years. Dr. Bromwitz is just starting, but he's already seen the difference. And this is what Dr. Detweiler said. He said, as you know, that other stuff is almost more valuable than the numbers. More happiness and satisfaction at work, stronger team, better relationship and organization skills, everyone knowing I'm participating in my vision, my core values in place, and building an ideal culture. Now, wouldn't you like to see those type of results or anything like that in your business? And that's what we deliver. So what we've been doing is this. I've been talking about this program for a while, but this isn't actually the program that I'm talking about tonight. And this isn't the reason why you're on the call. I obviously hope you got a ton of value out of it. But I just wanted to show you what we did with them because it's my elite program and they're involved in my elite program. I only take on a few people a year because it does involve a lot of time and energy for me and my team. There are some incredible things that we do that they had no idea we are doing in the program, but that's just part of what we want to give. We so want to over deliver, and just one of my core values in the company is to deliver random acts of wellness, and that's what we do. So it's a year-long program. It's full access to me and my team, and my team consists of not only myself, but I have an MBA on staff who does all the like numbers crunching and statistics, and he just sat down with one of my clients last month and was able to show him how to completely pay for our program in a month with just a few little tweaks of the business stuff. It was amazing. The in-office team training, we actually come to your office. We also do Skype training, but we come out to the offices and do live trainings with the office so they get to know me, like I mentioned a moment ago. We do training with just the core team members, like your office manager and maybe your TC or your hygienist or anybody that deals with money. One-on-one accountability, that's with me. I was just on the phone this morning with one of my clients dealing with some of his own personal stuff, because that personal development, the mental stuff is always going to be there. So I'm there for that. I only deal with higher level clients, not just high level financially, higher level thinking. People who want to think outside what they see is going on with everybody else. People who want to be leaders, people who want to take their business to the next level. And I become involved in the team, like I said. Now, like I said, there's only a handful of clients at a high level involvement. So there are two factors here. Like I said, I can't take everybody in because it's a very intense program, but not everybody's ready for it either. So what we did is we created a new program to serve more people. And that program is called our group coaching program. And what that is we're taking on, it's a 6-month program. We're taking on 10 doctors for the core group study program, and only 10 doctors at a time go into that core program. And we go over the program with them. We just take out the team part of it. We help them and help them we help them become leaders that can turn around and teach their own office. And so with that, we do 2 specific coaching calls per month. One is based upon the actual program. The other one is on how the program is working, the breakthroughs and breakdowns. We have 2 VIP meetings with each of those doctors in the office individually, not as together. The VIP meetings are individual ones. And then we break down the months like this, where we have 6 months full of going through the core and just kicking. But like I said, there's nothing else out there like this. So proud of this program that we've created for our clients. And so with the group coaching program, we do the discovery sessions, like I said, one-on-one group coaching calls. We do the clear, concise understanding of the culture, create new operations. We develop strong personal business relationships. We learn steps to create excellence. And then on top of that, what I do is so that we can have a connection with your team and they can understand what you're trying to do, is we come and we do our body language workshop, which has been phenomenal. So we come in and we teach your team how to understand body language better so they can ask better questions. It's not just a cool little gimmick. It literally does help people understand how to ask better questions in the office so that you can do better with sales, so that your team can connect more with the people around them. It has been amazing. There's actually a testimonial on my site on the core of a couple of offices that we've been able to do written testimonials, a couple of video testimonials, one from the Central Texas orthodontist office with Scott and Jessica Law. We had such a fabulous time with them. We've done a lot of body language training, and it's been a lot of fun. So we do that for you as well, so that there's a connection of why are we doing this? Oh yeah, it's that guy Dino, and that we had a good time with them and had fun with them, and they're more able to listen to you and actually see what you're doing and get on board with the changes that you're making in your culture. So my highest package is $10,000 a month. My elite clients pay $10,000 a month to go through this program. And I get it. It's an investment. However, we guarantee that investment, and I'll show you in a minute. A VIP day alone with me, just to sit down with me. Excuse me, let me grab some water. Just to sit down with me and do what I do, where you can talk to me about your business, and I can give you this thing and that thing and this resource and that resource. It's a $7,000 a day. That's what I charge for people who just want to come in and say, Dino, just come in, evaluate my office for an entire day, and the next day let's sit together and pound out a plan for my business. That's a $7,000 program that I do. But that's included in the group coaching program. Majority of my clients see an increase in their profits within the first few months. It's so awesome to see all the time. So the new program, the actual value is $60,000. It's $10,000 a month for my highest package, $7,000 for that. It's actually $67,000 if you put it all together. And our goal is to double your ROI when you follow the steps. So your investment, when you follow our steps, will be doubled by the time you're done, which is really exciting for us. And we've been able to see that over and over again. So the question you got to ask yourself is, what if you could eliminate the employee challenges, have a cohesive team, and have clients that participate in their treatment, and have a core team that understands the power of sales? So what we did is we did something really special. The entire 6-month group program, it's only $12,000. That's it. Not per month. That's it. Or if you need a payment program, it's $2,200 a month for the payment program. But check this out. You get full access to me and my team. You get group conversations with your other peers. You get full accountability with no excuses. You get to focus on your the best practice out there. We use all the shortcuts that we've discovered with our one-on-one clients. So the benefit you get is that with the one-on-one clients, like we've had a lot of trial and error. And okay, let's do this. Oh, that didn't work out for you, but it might work out for over here. But we found shortcuts to the success that we want. And we're going to be able to share that with you because you're going to be on the inside there. We're going to give you personal help with all the breakdowns and breakthroughs, and we're going to give you the fastest results in the industry. We love it. It's so much fun. What we do is we create for you and tailor to your practice a mini MBA. So you don't have to go back to get an MBA. You don't have to learn how to run business the way business should be run. We create that for you through our program. Our members of this study group receive access to our full library, which is our video library about everything from body language to relationships to the core process, $5,000 value. You also get the VIP access to me and my team. Like I said, that's $5,000 a month for 6 months, $30,000 value there. Your exclusive workbook, which is a really powerful, amazing work. It's basically your Bible for how to run your business. That's $2,500. And the in-office body language training, which we charge $3,700 to come out and do. It's a 2-day program. We come in for 1 day to evaluate. You do not tell anybody in the office that we're there for body language because that would ruin everything. And we talk about that. And then we, the next day, do a training and teach them. And not only is it educational, not only is it something that will not only affect their personal life and their business life, but it's a lot of fun. But that's a $41,200 value for just $12,000. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you a guarantee that you will double your money back, or we'll work with you until you do. If this isn't the best program you have seen out there, all you have to do at the end of the program, you can do the whole entire program, and you can give us a call, send me an email, say, hey, Dino, it just didn't work out for me. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Boom, refund, no problem. There's literally no risk for you, but I'm going to make this even crazier because we're so confident you're going to get results. This is what I'm going to do. For the first 10 people that apply, now if you go to that virtual desktop and you go to, and I'll even tell you right now, it's dinowatt.com/application. But for the first 10 people that apply, the first month is on us. We're going to pay for your first month because I'm going to put myself to the test. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll put my time and my energy where my mouth is because that's how confident I am about it. So you go through the 30 days. We're going to go through the first 30 days of the program. And at the end, you're going to decide to opt in or opt out. And there's no, it's going to be, okay, we're going to charge your card now. Okay, we're ready to charge your card. And you either say, oh no, I'm not going to do it. Or you just go for it. And you continue with the program. But because of that, now your program just became $10,000 and there's still payment plans available, but $10,000 instead of 12. That's what we're offering. Your assignment right now is to think, how does this relate to you? How can, if you implemented the core principles, help you? You need to determine what your specific vision is for your business and if the core and our company can help you out. You need to determine your end game and see if we can help you get there. And you need to determine how you're going to separate yourself from the others and if the core is the answer you've been looking for. Because I know some of you stay up late at night thinking about what can I do to make a difference? How can I get out of the hole that I feel like I'm going into? How can I have more peace, happiness, and satisfaction in my life? What can I do differently in order to get a different result? And maybe this is it, but that's up to you to decide. I'm not into hard sells. I'm into giving amazing value and amazing deals. And that's what I think this is. To get everything that we're going to do with you for 10 grand is insane. But that's only to the first 10 people who actually fill out the application. So another gift to you is that you're also going to receive a link that is a personality assessment link. I really believe that most people who do like things like a DISC test or a Briggs-Myers, that's great. But that's you assessing yourself. I think it's more powerful to have other people assess you, and then you learn from that and go, oh, wow, I didn't know that about me, or I thought this was me, but everybody else says this is me. And so we've created, through a partner of ours, a personality assessment that we're going to be releasing really soon to the general public. It's private now, that we're going to send you a link to that so you can take out that personality test, send it to 3 or 4 or 5 of your friends or business associates to get that feedback. And now that feedback will be amazingly powerful. I love that. So that's another gift that we wanted to give you. But I don't want you to leave here doing a couple of things. I don't want you to hold on to old beliefs. I don't want you to think your situation is unique. I don't want you to expect overnight success either. Don't want you to believe that your past determines your future, or to be stuck in process of analysis and accepting the status quo. What I do want you to do is this. I want you to be willing to grow, be willing to learn, be willing to ask plenty of questions, act from strength, honor the journey, and find the success that you're looking for, because it is out there. And if we're not your answer, that's okay. I hope that you got some answers today on this program. My whole goal was to give you value that you can go, oh yeah, I never really thought about that. Look, if you just went out and took the values, the culture, and said, okay, I'm going to create some killer core values so that everybody in my office knows exactly what I stand for. And you did that, and you implemented that, and you focus on that. I'm thrilled. I'm so happy for you. That it's gonna rock your world. I know it will. I've seen it over and over again. Whole companies have been built on that. If excuse me, if you haven't read the story or know the story of Zappos.com with Tony Hsieh, that's a huge part of their world is core values. I had the pleasure of visiting their campus just 2 weeks ago and got to tour it and see what they do. I mean, this is a company that has a multi-billion-dollar business, just got acquired through from Amazon.com, and their whole thing is delivering happiness through their core values. That's what they're known for. I mean, it's amazing to see a company that's only about 10 years old, the way that they've grown. You can do the same thing. And your choices right now that you get to continue to struggle and you get to consistently fight for the success that you're looking for, or you can go through 6 months of structured work and have a lifetime more of peace, happiness, and freedom. Because here's what I know. I know some of you are sitting there going, man, I don't want to add one more thing to my plate. I don't want to add one more thing I got to do. And you're right. And our goal isn't to do that. Our goal is to help you figure out how to have more peace and more happiness. And because of being an entrepreneur, because of the nature of being an entrepreneur, you're going to have to do some work. But I promise that little bit of workout, the little bit of pain, that little bit of lifting the weight and stretching that muscle is going to lead to a lifetime of peace and happiness. It's literally the fastest path to cash and success. Get you more cash too. So just to wrap it up, relationship management is the key that I want you to think about. Focus on the actual relationships that you have, not just the systems and processes. The only solution to transform your personal and professional relationships is to focus on your relationships. Focusing on building a culture defined by your vision while incorporating personal development of practitioners and team members is all done through practice and relationship management. So we want to join you in this transformation. I hope you'll give us that opportunity. Check it out today. Go to dinowatt.com/application. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Please feel free to, you can even write out on the chat boards right here if you want to ask me any questions. But I am so thrilled that you're here. I honor your time. I know we're 8 minutes over. I really appreciate that. We started 5 minutes late, so really it's only 3. So I so appreciate your time and your efforts of being here. I hope you got everything you wanted out of it. Go to dinowatt.com/application to just fill out the application. There's no a requirement other than filling the application. There's no expectation other than, hey, you just want to have a conversation. And that's what the application does, gives us a conversation. And we determine if we're a good fit. Because just because you're filling an application doesn't mean you're a good fit for this program. We might have to go a different route or look at some other options. So go to dinowatt.com. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I really appreciate it. You're amazing. Keep helping the people that you help. Keep being a major shift in this world for what you believe in. And I'll see you on the next event. Thank you so much for joining us.